The big Apple Watch Series 10 redesign is here. And despite it seeming underwhelming to some people, I think that this is the biggest change that we ever got from one generation of the Apple Watch to another. So if you're thinking of upgrading from the Series 9, here are not 5, not 10, but 21 things you need to know. Speaking of things to know, last year we launched wallpapers to support talented creators worldwide. And thanks to you, we've built a global community where artists can share their work and grow. If you'd like to help nurture this creative space, check out Wallpapers and enjoy the stunning 8K art that Wallpapers offers. And if you're a creator, you can join our creator community through the app. Links to Wallpapers are in the description. Okay, so number 1, case sizes. The Apple Watch Series 10 is noticeably bigger. Apple listed the case sizes as going from 41 to 42mm on the smaller model and from 45 to 46 on the larger model. Fun fact, the smaller model is now the same size as the largest model of the Apple Watch Series 0, 1, 2, and 3. However, what I haven't mentioned is that they're also getting wider by 1mm, meaning that the 46mm especially is massive. In fact, it looks even bigger than the Apple Watch Ultra, which was already pretty big. So if you're thinking of upgrading from the Series 9 to the 10, I would go to the Apple Store first to try out both sizes, as I think the 46 may be too big for most people. I already bought a 46, so I'll have to see if I end up switching to the 42 instead. The good news though is that the Series 10 is thinner. Only thinner by 10%, but that is actually enough to make it the thinnest Apple Watch ever released, even thinner than the original at just 9.7mm. This does fall in line with what Mark Gurman was saying, that Apple was aiming to create the thinnest products in each category. This started with the iPad Pro, and now we've got the thinnest Apple Watch too, which I do really like, as I do find the current Apple Watch to sometimes be too thick to go under the sleeve of some of my shirts that I'm sometimes wearing. Now, since the Series 10 is thinner, it is also lighter by about 6 to 7%. Weirdly enough, the GPS plus cellular version is lighter than the GPS-only version. Surely this doesn't make any sense as it lacks the cellular antenna, so it should be lighter if anything, probably just a typo. But you know which model is considerably lighter? The stainless steel version. And that's because it's now been replaced by a new titanium version, which is now 20% lighter. And this titanium is also polished, so it will still look like stainless steel, only more durable and lighter. The only downside for me is that the black titanium version, called Slate, is now more of a gray than black. However, there's now a polished black aluminum called Jet Black, the same name as the Jet Black iPhone 7 from back in the day. I was a big fan of the stainless steel Space Black Apple Watch Series 5. That was just gorgeous. After that, they switched to the lighter graphite color, so this jet black color is probably the one that I'm going for this year. I'm a bit worried about the display scratching since only the titanium version has this sapphire crystal glass, plus I'm also not sure how durable the jet black aluminum will be. After all, the iPhone 7 at least scratched in literally seconds of owning it, so we'll have to wait and see. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed, but that red ring that we had on the cellular versions is now gone. So they all look super clean now with a color-matched ring. Another surprising change is the speaker. The speaker grill has now been changed from this single grill to these many tiny holes, which, yes, they do remind me of the original iPhone speaker. But at the same time, the Apple Watch, you're supposed to take it on hikes, to the beach, maybe even snorkel with it, and I'm pretty sure that sand and dirt will easily get in there, and it will be almost impossible to clean. The good news, however, is that the speaker can now play music, podcasts, or anything really, without a need for AirPods. Of course, this is really just a software change that's locked to the Series 10, as you could already take FaceTime calls before, and the speaker was loud enough, so I cannot really see any reason why you cannot do the same on the previous models, aside from Apple wanting to push more people towards upgrading. Speaking of making calls, the Series 10's microphones also support voice isolation now, which, in calls, should now be able to get rid of background noise more effectively than the 9. Now, I mentioned the case size is getting bigger. Well, the displays are also getting bigger. In fact, the 46mm Series 10 has the biggest display out of any Apple Watch yet. Bigger and even slightly higher res than the Apple Watch Ultras. The bezels are actually thicker than on the Series 9, but the case borders are smaller. So I think when you look at the display top down, the bezels will still appear as thin as on the Series 9. And thanks to this larger display, you can also see one additional line of text now. Also, the display still has the same 1000 nit brightness as the Series 9, however, when you look at it off angle, it will now be 40% brighter. But I think that the best display update by far is the always-on display that now updates every second instead of every minute. This isn't a first. Samsung had this on the old Gear S3, but it is quite rare to see nowadays. So you'll be able to see the ticking seconds hand all the time, and we've also got 2 new watch faces thanks to this. The first is called Flux, and it fills the screen with color every second. Pretty cool. And the second is called Reflections, and this is definitely my favorite. It's got this beautiful shine that reflects light based on your movement. Both of these new watch faces seem to be exclusive to the Series 10 only. Something else that's new is the depth sensor. This is something that the Apple Watch Ultra had, being able to tell you the water depth if you were snorkeling or diving, so I'm quite surprised to see this on the Series 10 as well. However, unlike the Ultra, this depth sensor only works down to 6 meters as opposed to down to 40, so it's more made for snorkeling rather than diving. And you can also now use the Oceanic Plus app just like on the Ultra. However, its functionality is once again a bit different, as instead of working as a dive computer, it seems to only work for snorkeling. On top of this, we also get a water temperature sensor that works with a depth app, something that was also only on the Ultra. And we even get a new Tides app for info on high and low tide times. Although this will not be exclusive to the Series 10, as it will work on any Apple Watch from the Series 6 onwards. Something else that the Series 10 introduced, but that will also work on the Series 9, is sleep apnea detection. And this is a condition where your breathing stops repeatedly during your sleep, which can lead to a number of health issues. You'll now receive notifications if sleep apnea is detected on both the Series 9 or the Series 10. So if you really want this feature, you don't actually need to upgrade. Also, if you regularly use the oxygen level meter on your Series 9, you probably shouldn't upgrade to the Series 10, as this feature is currently disabled in the US for every new Apple Watch sold after January 2024 due to a patent dispute that Apple is having. If you live outside the US, you won't be impacted. Something else that you'll also have on your Series 9 is the S9 chip. Yes, even though Apple introduced the S10 chip with the Series 10, this is actually the same as the Series 9's chip, only rebranded to the S10. And same goes to the battery life. It's still the same as on the Series 9, rated at up to 18 hours of use. So if you're hoping for some battery life improvements with the Series 10, at least from Apple's ratings, we are not getting this. What we are getting, however, is faster charging. So the Series 7 was the first to introduce fast charging to the Apple Watch, and you were able to charge it to 50% in just 30 minutes, which completely changed the way that I use my Apple Watch, as I was able to finally use it for sleep tracking, which I couldn't do before, as previous models took more than an hour to charge to 50%. Well, now you can charge the Series 10 to 80% in just 30 minutes. Additionally, charging it for just 15 minutes will give you 8 hours of usage, and charging it for 8 minutes will now give you 8 hours of sleep tracking. This is awesome, as now if you're in a hurry, you can just quickly place it on the charger for a few minutes and immediately get multiple hours of usage out of it. So, will you be upgrading from the Series 9 to the Series 10? Let me know down below. And you subscribe for more Apple Watch Series 10 content in the next few days. And also don't forget to check out our app wallpapers for some awesome new designs. I'm Daniel, ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.